After more than 27 years of marriage, when a woman decided to close the chapter on her relationship and prepared to leave the small town where she had been rooted for nearly her entire life. No one imagined that those final steps would become the beginning of a complex chain of events. So what truly happened behind the doors of the house in Athol, Idaho? Kendy Howard and Daniel Howard were married and lived together for more than 27 years in the state of Idaho, building their family life in Athol, a small community in northern Idaho within the Coeur d'Alene metropolitan area. During the marriage, Daniel Howard previously worked for the Idaho State Police before leaving the force, after which he frequently took on extended work assignments in Alaska, resulting in the couple living apart for prolonged periods of time. This geographic separation gradually intensified the fractures in their marital relationship and was considered one of the primary factors contributing to the growing strain in their marriage. By late 2020 and early 2021, Kendy Howard began taking steps to bring the marriage to an end, including filing for divorce, searching for a new home in another part of Idaho, and preparing to change careers after more than 2 decades in the same job. At that point, the divorce proceedings between the two were underway, but had not yet been legally finalized. For Kendy Howard, who was 48 years old at the time, ending the marriage was not something she feared, but rather a transitional milestone after many years of trying to hold the family together. Those close to her said she displayed a clear sense of optimism and actively planned for a new chapter in her life, one in which she was no longer connected to Daniel Howard. Kendy was described as energetic, outgoing, fond of outdoor activities, and a mother of 2 children, 1 daughter from a previous relationship, and 1 son she shared with Daniel Howard. Kendy Howard continued to take clear and deliberate steps to separate herself from Daniel Howard, a former Idaho State Police officer whom those around them described as exhibiting jealous and controlling tendencies within the relationship. During this period, she placed a deposit on a home in Kamaya, approximately 176 miles from Athol, a location viewed as the place where she intended to begin an independent life, and where she also re-established contact with a former acquaintance from her high school years, Daniel Pardo. At the same time as she prepared for the move, Kendy submitted her resignation from the company where she had worked for more than 20 years, planning to pursue her long-held dream of opening an antique shop. These decisive choices unfolded as the divorce proceedings between Kendy and Daniel Howard were approaching their final stages. In the early morning hours of January 29, 2021, Kendy Howard placed an urgent call to her new partner. But rather than speaking directly, she kept the line open so the person on the other end could hear what was happening inside the home in Athol. According to later testimony given in court, he stated that Kendy was in a state of panic, her voice broken and out of control, while he could hear loud impact sounds occurring in the background. Sensing that the situation had become dangerous, he ended the call and immediately contacted Kendy's parents, who then called 911 to request that law enforcement conduct a welfare check at her residence.
Central Dispatch, this is...
Yes, I had a call from my daughter, Kendy Howard.
Okay.
She called in a panic, and I know her husband just got home from Alaska, and they're getting a divorce, and it didn't sound very good out there.
Tell me exactly what happened.
We was in bed, and my wife just got a phone call from a friend, and here, I'll let you talk about it.
I got a call from a friend that she called him, and she's in a panic, and then hung up, and I've been trying to call her, and she won't answer. She's had trouble with him before. Dan Howard, you guys have been there before. Okay. Are you at that location now?
No, I'm in.
Okay.
And I got a call from another friend.
Were there any weapons involved?
I don't know if he has weapons. And we've been there before because he pretended to
Like I said, he'll kill you and take you with him before he does that. She just called her friend that was in a panic, and then the phone hung up. Just a second, just call me. Hello? Hello?
Fantastic. Fantastic?
Yes.
Pick up through on the website. Kendy. Pick up through on the website. Okay? Okay. Stay on the line with your dad. What? Stay on the line with your dad.
Okay, she's calling me. She's in a panic. She asked if Dad's sick. That's a sign that she needs help.
Okay. What is she saying? What's going on?
Pardon? No.
Is she saying what's going on?
No, because he's there listening. That's why she said it. And she's crying.
Okay.
It's crazy. I told her not to freaking.
Okay. All right. Do you think it's been physical?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys were there last summer because he pretended to commit.
Okay. Okay. Hold on just 1 second.
I just said I'm on the phone with the cops, and she said, yeah.
Is she saying anything?
She's on the phone with her dad right now.
Okay.
After the call from Kendy Howard's parents, law enforcement was dispatched to the Howard family home in Athol to conduct a welfare check. According to reports from the officers who responded, Kendy Howard was visibly anxious and fearful at the time, though she appeared calmer once assistance was present. That night, Kendy gathered some personal belongings and left the house to stay with her parents. The following morning, when she spoke again with her new partner to recount what had happened, she broke down in tears and said that during the night, she had awakened to see Daniel Howard standing directly over her, dressed in dark clothing and wearing gloves, while an item associated with a personal weapon was on the floor nearby. Kendy stated that she believed she was facing a serious threat. Her new partner and her parents repeatedly urged her not to return to the house the next day, but Kendy remained determined to go back, explaining that she needed to check on the pets and because she already had a previously scheduled eye appointment. On February 2, 2021, law enforcement was once again dispatched to the Howard family home in Athol after the 911 dispatcher received a call from Daniel Howard. Footage from the officer's body-worn cameras captured Daniel's demeanor and reactions at the scene during the initial interaction. At that time, Daniel Howard asserted that Kendy had caused a serious incident to herself while in the upstairs bathroom, and he claimed that no other intervention had occurred before he placed the emergency call.
So medical's going to disturb your sleep? No, please, no.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Excuse me? I honestly haven't seen it. I know that she's...
No. Please don't tell me it's gonna go.
Hi, sir. Good, how are you?
No, please.
Do you need anything?
In a subsequent report, investigators noted that although Daniel Howard repeatedly produced loud expressions of distress at the scene, they did not observe the typical physiological signs associated with crying, such as tears or nasal discharge. One officer wrote, that this prolonged and somewhat exaggerated display of emotion appeared inconsistent with the circumstances, particularly given that Daniel was a former law enforcement officer with prior service in the United States Marine Corps. After checking on Kendy Howard and determining that she showed no signs of life, the officers briefly conferred among themselves regarding the timing and manner in which they would inform Daniel Howard of his wife's passing.
Hey, Zach?
Yep.
Do we give him... This is a different case. So given the circumstances of him and emotions and things like that, do we want to tell him? I don't think did medical tell him that she's dead?
I don't think so.
Do we want to tell him or do we want to wait?
You better tell him.
Okay, I got it. Actually, you know what? You haven't done one. Go tell him.
Okay. Before I take pictures?
Yeah.
Okay. What's his name?
Dan. Thank you.
Dan? Hey, Dan.
Hey,
Dan?
Dan.
Hey, Dan, I'm Deputy Wheeler. I'm sorry to inform you, but your wife has passed, sir.
No! God damn it!
Hey, Dan? Hey, Dan? Is there anyone that we can call for you? Anyone that can...
It's good to Oh my God!
Is there anyone we can call to give you some support or anything like that? Any family that... Dan, I know this is hard, but when is the last time that you saw your wife alive? I know this is tough.
I don't know.
How long ago? Can you recall?
What time is it?
Did you call 911 when you heard the gunshot?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. Oh no. I didn't.
Well, help us out with the time frame, all right?
I didn't think it was a gunshot. I was
Okay.
downstairs,
Okay.
TV going. It sounded like something hit the floor or something. I don't know.
When was the last time you saw your wife before she went to go take a bath?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Two
Hour and a half?
Okay.
Okay.
Hour and a half or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I'm out of it.
It's about 11:15.
Maybe 9:30.
9:30 or so?
I think.
Okay.
I don't know. It might be wrong. Oh my God.
Despite Daniel Howard's efforts to present himself as uninvolved, investigators quickly identified him as a person of interest after reviewing his well-documented history of instability. According to records from the Kootenai County Prosecutor's Office, in 2013, after discovering that Kendy Howard was involved in an extramarital relationship with a neighbor and family acquaintance, Matthew Wood, Daniel's reactions were assessed as far exceeding normal limits of control. Legal documents indicate that Daniel used a dangerous object to threaten Matthew, accompanied by serious, intimidating language, and caused damage to Matthew's property, including harming the roof, seizing personal belongings, and engaging in multiple acts of conspicuous vandalism intended to exert psychological pressure. Daniel was also accused of sending numerous threatening messages, following Matthew during his workday, and confronting him directly at his workplace, incidents that resulted in additional property damage. This prolonged pattern of behavior left Matthew Wood in a state of severe fear and ultimately forced him to leave Athol, relocating to the state of Washington in an effort to completely sever contact and distance himself from Daniel Howard. In connection with the actions directed at Matthew Wood, Daniel Howard was later charged with first-degree stalking, aggravated assault, and intentional damage to property. According to legal records, he admitted to some of the alleged conduct while denying other accusations, and he agreed to a civil restitution arrangement in favor of Matthew. When questioned by officers at his residence on the night of the incident involving Kendy Howard, Daniel Howard attempted to redirect attention by portraying his wife as unstable and unpredictable. He claimed that in the period leading up to the incident, Kendy had repeatedly made statements that caused him concern about the possibility of a personal crisis. This assertion was later examined closely by investigators as they compared it against independent evidence and testimony from other individuals involved.
Did she ever make any statements that had you concerned about her well-being?
Yeah, about every day. Well, it's just she's so emotional. She tells us, well, we should split up, and I agree with her, and she'd go the other way.
How long has this been going on?
This hitch, last hitch, we were pretty distant, you know. I knew something was up, but
Last month then?
yeah, whatever that turned out to be, yeah, pretty distant.
Do you suspect she was cheating on you again?
I asked her that. I asked her that to give me closure, because, you know, that would be it. But she said she hadn't been.
You believe it?
Man, her behavior, I don't know. It just doesn't add up. Okay?
What doesn't add up?
She's behaving the same way she was before. And, you know, before we made a go, thought it was pretty good. And, when she said she didn't want a divorce, or she does want a divorce, it changed about every other day.
Daniel Howard argued that his marriage to Kendy Howard became strained because the couple lived apart for roughly half of their time together. While he worked in the Prudhoe Bay area of Alaska as an equipment operator on a rotating schedule of 3 weeks on and 3 weeks off. However, records indicate that this arrangement was not continuous. As in 2014, Daniel ended his 19-year career with the Idaho State Police after being suspended, a direct consequence of his pattern of stalking and intimidation directed at Matthew Wood. During the execution of search warrants related to that case, law enforcement discovered that Daniel possessed a substantial quantity of dangerous items unlawfully retained from his former agency, along with falsified documents connected to a personal vehicle and an illegally harvested wild animal. These discoveries led to Daniel Howard being prosecuted in both Kootenai County and Bonner County on multiple charges. In early 2015, he was found guilty of property damage, unlawful possession, document fraud, and violations of hunting regulations, and was sentenced to serve 120 days in custody, complete 600 hours of community service, receive a 3-year suspended sentence, and remain under probationary supervision. Although the Howard marriage had previously endured numerous serious upheavals, those who knew the couple said that at this stage, Kendy Howard displayed clear determination to end the relationship. At the time of the incident that led to Kendy's passing, Daniel Howard claimed that the tensions surrounding the divorce process were what pushed her into a state of emotional crisis. He stated that Kendy became distressed and lost her composure during an argument over whether the house in Kamaya should be included in the list of marital assets and its value divided equally, despite the fact that the initial deposit for the property had been paid by Kendy herself. Daniel also said that in the days prior, Kendy had asked him to remove a personal dangerous item from the safe so she could keep it, asserting that it was part of the property division, a detail that later became one of the points investigators examined closely as they compared it against other evidence and witness statements.
She went and put earnest money on a house while I was up on the slope down there. Texted me once that she was going to go see an attorney. She saw the attorney a day before I got in, and then she had those papers. And I tried to talk her out of it. Let's talk first. Well, she didn't. And so since I've been here, we've been just going back and forth. You want to make it work? Okay, I'll encourage you to make it work. If you don't want to make it work, I'm encouraging you to still make it work. I couldn't see throwing 27 years away. But then, you know, I'm the one that filled out the papers, and I'll give her what she wants, if that's what she wants. And then she will do everything 50-50, okay. That includes the flipping house down there. Oh, which one? Wait.
So you're, I mean, obviously you're wanting to make things work here, and she's
I'm trying to encourage her.
She's telling you, you're not hearing me, I want the house and to change.
Okay.
I feel out of love, that breaks my heart, I'm hurting you.
Yeah, and then she'll come back and go, well, I'm not sure if I want the divorce. And I'll let that count.
According to investigative documents, the total value of the shared assets of Kendy Howard and Daniel Howard was estimated at approximately $2 million US. Daniel denied that the asset division process concerned him. However, individuals close to Kendy provided law enforcement with a different picture, stating that Daniel was particularly sensitive about money and frequently pressured her over even very small debit card purchases. Facing the possibility of having to split in half, a fortune accumulated over many years was viewed by investigators as a significant driving factor in the events that led to Kendy's passing. Suspicion toward Daniel came not only from investigators, but also from within the family itself. While police were processing the scene at the home in Athol, Daniel received a phone call from his stepdaughter, during which she loudly confronted him to the point that officers on scene could clearly hear the exchange. Observing the intensity of this reaction, investigators used the moment to directly challenge Daniel regarding the consistency and credibility of the statements he had provided.
I think you killed your wife. Because I got to tell you, that phone call put chills down my spine.
Many people.
You did it, didn't you, Dan?
No, I didn't.
I didn't think so, but now, after listening to that, I think you did, didn't you?
How the hell, she doesn't know. She wasn't here. She knows what does she knows that there's a divorce going on.
What does she know? She knows something. She wouldn't have reacted the way she did.
Well, I don't know what it is.
Mother, she obviously had concerns if that was her knee jerk.
Okay, well.
You understand where we're coming from?
Because I had talked to my daughter about that. You think all you want.
I think you did.
No, I didn't.
The autopsy findings showed that Kendy Howard's physical condition reflected a forceful struggle to protect herself before the serious incident occurred. Forensic specialists documented multiple injuries, including damage to the jaw, numerous bruises across her body, abrasions on her legs, and a severe burn injury to her arm, indicating that a violent physical confrontation had taken place within a confined space. Based on these indicators, prosecutors argued that Daniel Howard employed a dangerous restraint technique in which pressure was applied directly to the neck, disrupting blood flow to the brain and potentially causing rapid loss of consciousness. Investigators believed that after Kendy was no longer able to resist, Daniel moved her body into the bathroom, staged the scene by filling the bathtub, and positioned a personal dangerous item at the center of the incident. That item was later found submerged in the water alongside Kendy's body. Trajectory analysis revealed force consistent with a downward application, inconsistent with patterns typically seen in self-inflicted cases, and the limited presence of trace evidence at the scene further supported investigators' conclusion that the final injury occurred after Kendy was no longer alive. Nearly 2 years after Kendy Howard lost her life, Daniel Howard was formally charged in connection with the incident that occurred at the home in Athol. Approximately 1 year later, while the trial was underway, Daniel Howard was taken into custody by law enforcement at Spokane International Airport for violating the conditions of his release, including a restriction prohibiting him from being within 2 miles of the airport area. In March 2024, the court found Daniel Howard guilty of second-degree conduct, resulting in particularly serious consequences, along with a related charge involving domestic abuse. At sentencing, Daniel Howard continued to deny that he was directly responsible for his wife's passing, despite the arguments and evidence that had been presented before the court.
I stand before you, shell of a man used to be. Hell, I don't even have a shell left. My wife took her life. My will to live went down significantly. And when the jury found me guilty of crimes I didn't commit, it went down even further.
In the court's final assessment, the judge concluded that Daniel Howard's actions stemmed from a convergence of negative factors, including jealousy, possessiveness over property, personal ego, prolonged anger, and a desire for retaliation after losing control over the marriage. On that basis, the court sentenced Daniel Howard to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the conduct that led to the tragedy and the passing of Kendy Howard, and additionally imposed a 10-year prison sentence related to domestic abuse, with the 2 sentences to be served concurrently in accordance with the law. After the sentence was handed down, the case was formally closed from a legal standpoint, yet it continued to leave lasting repercussions for those involved. Daniel Howard was transferred to a state correctional facility in Idaho to serve his sentence in accordance with the law, while potential appeals filed by the defense were noted, but did not alter the immediate effect of the ruling. As for Kendy Howard's family, the couple's son was determined to have no involvement in the incident and was placed in the care of relatives to ensure stability in both his emotional well-being and daily life following the tragedy. Prosecutors stated that the case stands as a representative example of how a prolonged investigative process, built on cross-referencing statements, forensic evidence, and past behavior, can ultimately clarify the true nature of an incident, while also underscoring that patterns of control, asset disputes, and sustained domestic conflict can lead to severe consequences if they are not recognized and addressed in time. The case of Kendy Howard illustrates how simmering conflicts within a family, particularly issues involving control, power, and property, can, when prolonged and left unresolved, lead to irreversible consequences. The investigation and trial made clear that warning signs had appeared very early on, yet they were not enough to prevent the tragedy from unfolding. This story also serves as a reminder of the importance of recognizing high-risk relationships at an early stage and highlights the role of the legal system in protecting individuals during especially vulnerable transitional periods of life. Thank you for listening to the full story in today's episode of True Crime Documentary. If you have any thoughts or wish to express your remembrance of the victim, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to share the video, hit like, and subscribe to continue following upcoming true crime documentary stories. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next episode.